Every empire guarantees the safety of its money. Every government insists its promises will last forever. And history, as always, proves them wrong. Here we go. From Byzantium to Germany, from the Soviet Union to the modern era, people have repeatedly woken up to find systems they once trusted collapsed overnight. Their savings worthless, salaries meaningless, and their future darkened. Collapse is not rare. Collapse is the rule, a functioning machine. The key question is not whether financial systems fail, but how you protect yourself when they do. Segment 2. The illusion of permanence. We look at our bank accounts, national currencies, thinking they are rock solid. But money is not stone, money is trust, and trust can vanish overnight. Or be destroyed. History shows no mercy, and that's why learning is essential. Every collapse leaves lessons, signs showing what preserves real wealth and what turns to dust. The ones who survive aren't the most trusting, they are the earliest to take precautions. Segment 3. Byzantium and the Solidus. Let's talk about the Byzantine Empire, the eastern half of Rome. At the center of its economy was the solidus, a gold coin so trusted that merchants from Europe to the Middle East and Asia accepted it without question. The solidus, Latin for solid, originated from the ancient Roman coin, first minted by Emperor Constantine I around 309 to 310 AD, and used in Byzantium until the 10th century. Over time, emperors diluted the coin with copper and silver. At first, no one noticed, but when trust in the coin eroded, confidence vanished. The solidus, the backbone of Mediterranean trade, suddenly became a political and economic crisis. Those who had real gold or land outside the empire preserved their wealth. The rest watched their money evaporate. First timeless lesson: the value of money depends on human trust, not the whims of those who print it. Segment 4. The Black Death. But not all collapses were caused by rulers gambling with money. Sometimes the system collapses from external shocks, a single spark under its own weight. In the mid-14th century, Europe faced one of history's darkest catastrophes. The Black Death from 1347 to 1351. Half the continent perished. Cities emptied, production collapsed, borders lost meaning. But the economic story of the plague was deeper. With the labor force halved, surviving workers demanded higher wages. Land and food, once scarce, became abundant relative to people. Families with liquidity suddenly gained unimaginable wealth. Once valuable land could now be purchased at rock-bottom prices. Empty homes and fields created a buyer's market for the survivors. Segment 5. COVID-19 Pandemic Parallels. Does this sound familiar? During the COVID-19 pandemic, a modern version unfolded. Supply chains broke, governments printed trillions, racing to keep the system afloat. Those with cash turned chaos into opportunity, buying land, stocks, and homes cheaply. Those living paycheck to paycheck fell behind. Housing prices in the US skyrocketed. The stock market recovered within months. But millions couldn't pay rent. Some became homeless. Others sank into debt. History rhymes. Every pandemic shifts wealth. Some are impoverished, some enriched. Segment 6. Lessons from Florence Crises. Reward those with resources and punish those without. During the Renaissance, Florence's banking collapse showed another truth. Institutions considered too big to fail are just paper walls. A strong wind topples them. In the 1340s, Florence was Europe's financial capital. Banking families like Bardi and Peruzzi lent vast sums to kings, including Edward III of England. When Edward defaulted, banks collapsed. Depositors lost savings. Trade halted. Florence fell into chaos. Lesson: being large does not mean being safe. Reputation provides no protection. Segment 7. Too big to fail is a myth. The takeaway: the too big to fail myth is as old as finance itself. Institutions exist for profit, not for your survival. When they collapse, your savings go with them. This pattern repeats across centuries, from Florence to Lehman Brothers in 2008, to frozen accounts in Lebanese banks in 2019. Who survives? Those who foresee that promises may evaporate. Segment 8. The American Civil War. The American Civil War is often remembered for battlefields, but there was a financial war too. Both the North and South realized that such a war couldn't be fought without printing money. The North issued greenbacks, backed only by government faith. Initially bold, as money supply increased, value fell, and inflation rose. The South printed greybacks wildly. By 1865, prices soared. Salaries were worthless. One needed wheelbarrows of money to buy bread. Lesson: real physical assets, land, food, gold, retain value when paper collapses. Segment 9. France and revolutionary currency. France provides another harsh lesson. Revolutions destroy money faster than wars. In the 1790s, revolutionaries issued the assignats, backed by seized church lands. The government printed continuously, devaluing each previous issue. Prices soared, wages collapsed. Assignats became worthless. Farmers preferred silver or tangible goods. Earning or holding patriotic paper was futile. Real assets prevailed. Segment 10. Asia's 1997 crisis. 2 centuries later, the lesson returned in Asia. In 1997, speculative attacks on the Thai baht sparked a regional financial crisis. Thailand's dollar-linked debts became unpayable overnight. Indonesia, Malaysia, South Korea, currencies collapsed, economies shrank, unemployment spiked. Governments begged the IMF for help. The hardest hit were ordinary people, not global funds. Those holding foreign currency survived, local currency holders perished. What looked like local collapses were global wealth transfers. Lesson: borrowing in someone else's currency is a trap. In a storm, it's the debtor who drowns, not the creditor. Segment 11. Lebanon, 2019 to 2021. The most frightening part is that collapses are not ancient history. Between 2019 to 2021, Lebanese banks did the impossible. They locked accounts. Citizens woke up to frozen deposits and a collapsing currency. The Lebanese lira lost over 90% of its value. Those who survived diversified assets, gold, real estate, or cash outside banks. Segment 12. Lunar Terror Crisis, 2022. The lesson repeats in the digital age. Lunar Terror. In 2022, the Lunar UST and Terra Lunar ecosystem collapsed. UST lost its $1 peg overnight. Lunar was minted in massive quantities to absorb the loss, erasing its own value. Small investors suffered most. Only those with real assets or liquidity survived. Lesson: no matter how reliable a system seems, it can break. Those who survive anticipate fragility, not blindly trust promises. Segment 13. Modern Lessons and Conclusion. 2008. Americans lost homes, banks survived. 2020. Trillions printed, asset holders benefited, ordinary people stagnated. 2023. Regional banks collapsed overnight in the US. How to survive? History gives no single answer. Byzantium, gold. Black Death, liquidity. Florence, distrust big banks. Confederacy, hard goods. France, food and land. Asia, avoid borrowing in foreign currency. Lebanon, exit before banks close. Theme remains constant: Salvation comes from understanding real value when illusions collapse. The paradox: crises are disasters for the unprepared, opportunities for the prepared. The lesson from history: survival isn't just what you own, but what you can do. Bread bakers, craftsmen, farmers, merchants, they thrived while others perished. Crises make money meaningless, but production endures. Deep protection is not blind faith, it is real assets, real skills, and awareness of inevitable collapse. Every crisis is a transfer, from the trusting majority to the prepared minority, from paper promises to tangible value. The question isn't, will it collapse? It always will. The question is, will you hold only promises or real value? History repeats not exactly, but ignoring it crushes you. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe. Those who know the past can navigate the future, and I'll show you where to look.